The poop grunts. Oh, she throwing up. That's
yeah.
Good. All right, y'all, we out.
That was. wait. I need a thumbnail. Hey, friends, welcome back. Today I'm gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing a labor and delivery story time video. So basically, I know the labor and delivery vlog was like a little choppy because there was so much going on so quickly. So I wanted to do this video just to kind of explain what happened from like beginning to end, kind of, well, what I remember from it. So I got Tony here with me and baby girl, but I'm gonna just start from the beginning. So, and then I'm sure there's some stuff that I forgot, so Tony can like add in, because sometimes I was just like, I don't know, in and out of, felt like consciousness. But, so I got, my due date was May 10th, which would have been 2 weeks ago from today. Today is May 24th. I was dilated 2 centimeters for the past 2 weeks previous to my due date. Every time I was going back, I thought that it was, something had changed. Nothing really changed. Like, I was still 2 centimeters. Well, I started off at 1, and then, wait, was I just 1 the whole time?
1.5.
I was, okay, well, I was 1.5 centimeters the whole time. Well, for the 2 weeks before my due date. I was dropping, like, she was low. My stomach dropped. I was walking a whole lot. Just doing stuff to stay active. Try everything, like y'all saw, the castor oil, everything. Nothing worked. So I just figured she was just gonna come on her own. But once I hit 40 weeks, it didn't really seem like anything was changing. So at my 39-week appointment, we scheduled an induction for 40 weeks. So I was still 1.5 centimeters at that time. But my doctor was confident about us scheduling an induction. So we scheduled an induction for May 11th, which would have been the day after my due date. We scheduled it for that morning, that Monday. So we got to the hospital. We were supposed to be there at 7:30. So we got to the hospital. I know inductions take longer, so we figured that she may not come that day. I was hoping that she did. I was hoping she came by that evening. But we'll get into that as to why that probably didn't happen. But we got to the hospital, got checked in and everything. My doctor basically let us know the options as far as induction, whether we could do the Foley balloon, the balloon that they put inside of you to open your cervix, or the Cytotec, which is the pill that they put inside of you to soften up your cervix. So my doctor said that if we were like motivated to go ahead and get the ball rolling, that we could do both. And so the Foley balloon stays in you for 12 hours. So I said, okay, whatever. We can do both. Which, I don't know, I don't regret it, But so I just said, okay, we can do both. So they put the balloon inside, and they gave me this, they put the Cytotec inside at around, was it 9?
It was like 9:30.
Around 9:30 a.m. So at that point, I had already been having contractions and everything. So we knew that the balloon would make me contract more. She said, hopefully I can be at about 4 to 6 centimeters after they took the balloon out after 12 hours. So during that time, they didn't check me or anything. We really were just chilling in the hospital room. Like, I was trying to sleep. It was more difficult to sleep because the pain was kind of kicking up. So it was a little more difficult to sleep. He slept, but I think I was like in and out of sleep for a minute. So they just kept coming in, and then that's the other thing, like, it was difficult to go to sleep too because they keep coming in messing with you, like taking your the thing automatically taking your blood pressure. It was coming in all the time to take my temperature. So I couldn't really even get into a deep sleep if I wanted to, I feel like, because they just keep bothering you. I understand it's their job, but still. So we both did have to wear masks and stuff since I did give birth, like during this quarantine or whatever. We did have to wear masks. So that was one thing. Like, if you are giving birth during this time, I know most hospitals make you get masks. I heard a lot of people say they making you, like, a lot of people had to get tested for COVID. We didn't have to do that. Like, I didn't have to do that. So yeah, we was just chilling for hours, and then at around, what time did they come to take the balloon out? 12 hours would have been 9, but they came in at like 6, right?
Yeah.
So she came in at around...
It was like 5:30.
Okay, 5:30. She was like, let's just check and see if the balloon was inflated all the way, or if I had dilated more than the 1.5 centimeters when I first got there. So she checked me, took the balloon out. That was like very uncomfortable, but it was a relief. That balloon is extremely uncomfortable because you can feel it just inside of you. And I know some people got it after they got an epidural. I didn't have an epidural yet, so I just felt it like inside of me. I used the peanut ball and everything to try to get me to dilate more or faster. So while I had the Foley balloon in me, they put the peanut ball in between my legs. I think I was using that for like hours. Like,
pretty much up until we moved.
Yeah.
Up until.
Yeah. So I was using that for some hours. So that I was hoping that helped or worked or something. So she took the balloon out. Everything seemed good when she took the balloon out because she was like, "Oh, you're 4 centimeters." So she was like, "I'm gonna give you another dose of Cytotec," but they gave me the oral version of it. So the little pill that they put in between your lip and your gum. So they gave me the oral version of Cytotec. Took the balloon out, and then what? We were just waiting to see if I was dilating. Yeah, so we was just waiting to see if I was dilating more. They let me eat dinner at this point too, since I was in active labor, but I hadn't gotten an epidural yet or anything like that. So they let me eat dinner. At this point, my contractions were hurting. Anywho, so after I ate, my contractions and stuff were kicking. They were like amped up. So at this point, I pretty much knew I wanted to get epidural. Excuse me, just because things were going slower because of the induction, and then the pain. I was just like, "There's no way I'm gonna be able to take this pain like this." So everything looked good at this point. We thought I was still gonna be able to deliver vaginally. We thought I was still gonna be able to deliver vaginally and everything. Because I had dilated and everything. So we just waiting. Then they checked me again a few hours later, and I was at like a 5. And I think I stayed at 5 for the rest of the night. So I was at 5. And the contractions were more painful and super consistent. We were looking on the chart, and the contractions were literally like every few minutes. So I thought that was a good thing. I was like, okay, good. Like, that means we're getting closer to, delivering and everything. But nothing really was happening. It was just a lot of pain and no progress. So they were like, well, we're just gonna keep checking, keep an eye out on me, basically. At this point, it's like 9 o'clock at night.
Might have been more later.
Probably like 11, close to 11, 12 o'clock. So at this point, I'm still sitting at a 5. We just chilling out. I was able to go to sleep, and I did tell them I wanted an epidural. So they did call the anesthesiologist, and they came and gave me the epidural. After I got the epidural, I felt fine. I could still feel my contractions, but it wasn't painful. It was just like I knew they were happening because I felt like a little bit of pressure or something, and I would look on the chart and see that the chart was going up, like I was having a contraction. But the pain, I was good after that. Oh, and then she also broke my water at this point too. So they waited until I got the epidural, and then she came in and broke my water. So this is like midnight, around midnight, 12:30 a.m. So yeah, so then she was like, okay, well, maybe breaking your water, things will kick up or, progress quickly. Nothing happened. It was still, nothing happened. So at this point, I was getting worried, just because I knew it takes longer, but just no progress was like making me question stuff, and I just started getting paranoid. So then that's when the nurses and stuff, they started subtly talking about C-section. And it was very subtle though. Like, it was not even like it was more like it probably won't happen. Because I was asking questions. I'm like, okay, so worst case scenario, if I don't dilate anymore, my water is broke, so I know she has to get out somehow. So I just asked, like, worst case scenario, what will happen? And they were like, oh, well, just being real, like, nonchalant about it. Like, oh, well, it could be a C-section, but I was thinking, okay, maybe I will progress. They were like, well, sometimes this happens, and then after your water breaks, you could, jump to 10 centimeters really quickly or whatever. And so a part of me I was hoping that would happen, but the other part of me was like being realistic too. Like, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Like, it don't feel like it's gonna happen at this point. So at this point, they started looking at the contractions and looking at Jersey's heart rate, and was saying after my contractions, Jersey was having this decrease. Her heart rate was like going down. Yeah, like it was like the way they made it seem, it was like, oh, it's okay, it's going down a little bit. We just want to monitor it. That's what they were saying. Like, it wasn't like an emergency thing where it was like, oh, her heart rate is dropping, we have to do C-section. Like, it wasn't like that. It was like, oh, we just want to monitor her for a little bit because her heart rate is kind of going down after some contractions. So I was like, okay. So they did that, monitored her for some hours. It was literally some hours. And so at this point, they were saying how it was not her head. When they checked my cervix, her head wasn't coming through the way that it was supposed to come through. And then they were saying that was why her heart rate was dropping. At this point, I had it in my head I was gonna have to have a C-section. Like, and I was freaking out, like crying and scared, because my birth plan literally was not have a C-section. That was my whole birth plan. So it was like I was very afraid. I started asking questions about the C-section because I obviously was like somewhat misinformed about how it works or whatever. I thought they was about to strap me to the table like Jesus Christ, like for real. Like, I was scared. Don't
listen to your friends. Ask your doctors if you having a C-section, because some people, have messed up stories and it'll mess with your mental. Don't talk to your friends as much about C-sections. Go to your doctors and get nurses.
Well, I was talking to people that had them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, some people have messed up stories and it'll, steer you in the wrong direction.
Well, it scared me. So, and it still wasn't a pleasant experience, but I didn't have a traumatic experience. So we'll get to that. So I started asking a whole lot of questions. My mom had C-section, so she told me to ask questions. She was like, just ask the nurses. Our nurses were amazing. Mm-hmm. Like, I have amazing nurses, so they were very open about what was gonna happen should I need to have a C-section, but they were still trying to like be hopeful that I wouldn't need one. So I'm like still crying and scared, and at this point, my whole thing was I just wanted her to be safe. Like, if that meant they had to wheel me back at that moment, if that meant they had to put me to sleep and give me, like, I just wanted her to be safe. Like, that was my only priority. So once I asked all my questions and got a little more information, they were like, and then the other thing too is because the doctor that I scheduled my C-section with, sorry if I'm trying to like remember everything, but the doctor that I scheduled the induction with, because we thought we would have the baby within that 24-hour span, at this point she was about to be getting off. Like, they were going to be switching doctors. So I was worried about that too, because she was who I had been seeing pretty much my entire pregnancy. So I was happy about scheduling the induction with her, and then it was like around 5 o'clock. And she was coming in, and I was like, okay, when does she get off? Because, they work like 24-hour shifts. So she was going to be off at 7. So it was like 7 or 8 or whatever. But it was like, I was like, okay, she's not going to be delivering my baby. Who's going to be delivering my baby? So the nurses were telling me that the doctor that was coming in, if I did have to have a C-section, he was the best. Like, they were like, she was like, he's the best. Like, he's quick, he's efficient. Like, she was like, he's not all warm and bubbly, but he is the best at C-sections, if that's what you end up having to do. She was like, I would feel comfortable with him having to perform a C-section on me. The doctor was very, he was cool at my appointment, so it was like, okay, whatever. Plus, everybody was speaking very highly of him and his cesarean ability. So, at this point, I was like, I called my mom, and I'm like, Mom, I think I'm gonna end up having to have a C-section. And like, Tony was real calm. I don't know how. Well, probably because he wasn't the one about to get cut open. But
I had to be calm for you. We both can't be bad. It's not gonna work.
I was very scared. Very, very scared. I'm like, this is major abdominal surgery, bro. Like, this isn't no, like, this ain't no, I tore my ACL or I dislocated. Like, I'm like, no, they're about to cut me open and get a baby from inside. Like, I was afraid. Like, I was afraid. I couldn't stop crying. And every time I tried to stop crying, it just was like more tears. I was so scared. So my mom, like, we prayed on the phone and stuff, and I was just praying, and I'm like, okay, like, whatever it takes. Like, at this point, they, like, it is true, though, like, you don't even think about your own pain when it's, like, something with your baby, because they were, like, it was 8, maybe. Like, they came in together and was just basically letting me know what was a very strong possibility of happening as far as having to have a C-section, because her heart rate was dropping with my contractions, and they wanted to do it before she got into distress, like before she got she was stressed out and stuff. So they were saying right now she's still doing okay, but her heart rate is dropping. So they were letting us know like what was going on with her. I obviously had the epidural, so I couldn't feel the contractions and stuff like that. But when they said that, I knew. Like, I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna have to have a C-section. So I was trying to just, like, mentally prepare myself, which was difficult. But I was just trying to mentally prepare myself. I kept praying and just hoping that everything would go smooth. But I was still very afraid. And so he literally came back in the room like 30 minutes after that. What? Okay. Are you pooping again? She makes noises when she poops. She goes, she'd be like, and I'll be like, oh, she trying to push it out. And then it'll just, this girl, it's like a grown man. I'm like, how does she do this on this little pretty body? Anywho, so Dr. Wicker came back and he was like, let's have a baby. Literally, I'm like laying in the bed, like, he's like, let's have a baby. He was like, so at this point, the best thing for us to do would be to go ahead and do a cesarean. And he just explained why. They told me all the risks, you know, everything that could happen. All the you can die, you can do this, like all of this stuff that could happen with having a C-section. Had to get my like verbal agreement and stuff to be able to do it. And everything. So they were like, so we can go ahead and get dad prepped and get you prepped and everything. So I was like, okay, what about medication? Like, I know the epidural is not the only thing that y'all about to give me. And he was like, no. He said, since you already had a successful epidural, because my epidural was perfect. That lady did a bomb job. So my epidural was great. So he said, since you already have a good epidural, we're going to go ahead and pump some more medication into your epidural. And it's like some super strong meds. And he said it's pretty much going to numb me from like below my chest, like down. So I was like, okay, like, I mean, I guess it's nothing else that I can do at this point. My baby has to come out. So they got Tony his little scrub stuff.
That was fly too, y'all. She saw me. Go ahead.
I got the blue scrub things Tony put on. They gave me my little hairnet and stuff, and everything after that happened so quickly. Like it happened so quickly. I was kind of like shocked for real. So if y'all saw the labor and delivery vlog, y'all would see how fast it happened, because it was like, oh, everything's fine, and then they turned around and I had on the blue hairnet, and it was like, oh, we about to have a C-section, because it just happened so fast. So yeah, so they had us get all of our stuff together and everything. Well, Tony got all of our stuff together, and they started prepping me. They let me know that it was probably gonna be quick, because he was he did C-sections. He performed them very quickly. Good but fast.
Right.
So they then took Tony out They took you out, right?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I was high as hell.
High as hell.
But they took Tony out to put our stuff away and then sit in the hall or whatever so they can prep me. So they wheeled me to the room.
Oh yeah, she pooping. Go
No,
ahead.
she
Go ahead.
she not. Her grunt's not hard enough. If she was pooping, the grunts would be way harder.
That's the warm up. That's the initial. Can I get it out with a normal grunt right there?
So they took him into the hall and stuff. They wheeled me out, wheeled me down. Y'all, it was so bright. I was so afraid because I'm just laying there, and then they like lift me, and I'm sitting here like these little ladies is not gonna be able to lift me up off this thing. They lifted me, put me on the table, had me put like my arms like out, like across, like literally like across, but they didn't strap. They didn't strap my arms down, but they strapped my legs down. So, which was okay. And then they started rubbing all this stuff on my belly. At this point, Tony wasn't in there with me, but my nurse was, and she was talking me through the whole thing. She was awesome. Like, I think we really were blessed with amazing nurses the entire time. But she talked me through what they were gonna be doing. And at this point, I could still feel them doing stuff. So I'm freaking out. I was like, am I supposed to feel this? Like, am I supposed to feel it? And they were like, you're gonna feel the pressure from it, but you're not gonna feel the pain. They said you're not gonna feel temperature or anything like that.
It's
so
pretty much numb your nerve endings. Pretty much what it did.
You don't know what they did.
How you think you feel stuff? Your nerve endings.
Shut up. He don't know.
I'm just saying.
Whatever. They
Comment
said
down below if I'm right. I'm just saying, but go ahead.
Anywho, they said you're not gonna feel, because I could feel them rubbing something on my stomach. And she said, did you feel it? I said, yes, I feel it. Like, I was scared because I'm like, no, you can't cut me yet because I can feel this. So she was like, no. She said, what temperature did you feel? I said, I didn't feel a temperature. She said, because it was ice cold. What they put on me, whatever, was like ice cold. So she was like, you won't feel the sharpness or heat from the knives or anything like that.
Nerve endings.
So I'm like, okay, like, I guess. And so then they gave me a little Brazilian.
little quick, yeah.
They gave me a little quick wax or whatever. No, not no wax, but they took some clippers. I could hear the clippers, and I could just feel them like going across my hoo-ha. And I was like, okay. So, and so then they put the sheet up. I didn't realize how close the sheet is to your face. It literally was like right here in my face. And I was like, it was very intimidating. Like, and then I'm just staring up, and I was laying flat down. So I'm just staring up into these bright lights in this cold room. It was so intimidating, okay? So at this point, they start to cut me, and then they go get Tony. But they didn't go get him until they started to cut me already. So they got Tony, and I told Tony not to look at all because he would have passed out. So he came and sat down next to me, and I was just like, please just talk to me the whole time. Just talk to me the whole time. Like, I don't even want to think about what's going on the other side. So I'm sitting there like jiggling because they cutting me and like messing with me, and I'm just sitting there jiggling and stuff. I can't feel it, but I can feel pressure, and I'm just like, and I'm just.
And I was talking about the most random. I don't even remember what I said. I was just talking. If it popped in my head, it came out my mouth.
I don't remember what he said either.
Exactly.
I don't remember what he said either.
I brought up some ice cream.
And then he was like, "You doing so good," and I was like, "No, don't say that." I'm like, "Just keep talk about something else." I was so afraid. So I'm sitting here trying to look at him because he was sitting like kind of behind, but so I'm like trying to look at him, and I can hear my blood splattering on the ground.
And I can see the blood hitting the ground. So I wasn't getting around.
Sorry if this is TMI, but I mean, look, that's what happened. So I literally could hear it splattering on the ground. I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, like please just. And then all I could think about was I'm gonna have a mommy pouch, and that's all I could think about was I'm literally gonna have a little fat pouch in the front of my stomach after this.
Or we're gonna do these sit-ups or something.
And I keep trying to explain to him it does not matter how many sit-ups you do if your muscles are not back connected. They literally cut all of that stuff open. Anywho, the guys don't understand, I guess, because they just feel like, we can just work out, nigga. That's not how it works when you have a C-section. But anyways, so he made me lose my train of thought.
He's talking about the blood and the TMI and the
Oh, yes. So they were like, you're going to feel a lot of pressure in your chest. when they pull the baby out. And she was like, I'll let you know when it's coming. So the nurse is like, you're gonna feel it right now. It felt like somebody punched me in my damn chest. It was just like all of my wind was gone, and then Jersey, all I hear was, ah!
Yeah,
and that was it.
She cried for like a half.
It was literally a millisecond. Like, she was like, yeah, and I'm thinking something wrong, and the nurse is like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful, and so they telling me like, you know, I felt better because it was like, okay, nothing's wrong because they telling me everything's cool.
She just a gangster.
But it literally was a little millisecond of a cry, and so then they took her, wiped her off. Well, took her, was checking her and stuff, and then they brought her to the back and was wiping her off and everything. And they told Tony he could come over there. So the only thing I didn't like was that I literally was the last person to see my baby. I thought they were gonna at least like show me her or something, but they didn't. And I'm just sitting there crying, and I'm like, oh my god, like I couldn't stop crying. I'm over here trying to ask Tony questions. I'm like, who she look like? Like, I was trying to ask, who did you say she looked like when I asked who she looked like? Who did you say?
I don't remember.
You pointed at me.
No, because initially that's what I thought. And then
I was like, who she look like? And he was like,
it was the eyes mainly. It was the eyes.
Whatever. So then she started crying some more, and Tony was talking to her, and I'm just laying there while they stitching me up and stuff, and it was, I just wanted to see my baby at that point. Like, I was just like, I just want to see her. So then Tony brought her over there where I was and was sitting there while they was stitching me up. Then they took her back after Tony left. So they had Tony leave out, and they took Jersey back. And then what happened? I was in there by myself. So they let me know that what they were doing when they were stitching me and stuff. And then the doctor came from the other side. He was like, everything went great. He was like,
I was still sitting there for that part.
You was? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, he was like, everything went great. That was pretty much it. And then he dipped out. Yeah, then he dipped out. And then the other ladies finished.
Yeah, I was still there.
Yeah, and they said, he said the stitches were done. They were just doing something with my skin. I wish they would have just gave me a tummy tuck. They could have just gave me a tummy tuck.
Real quick.
Yeah, just real quick. They was already doing everything that you do for a tummy tuck. So, anywho, so they then they had me hold her. Like afterwards, they gave her to me and lifted me up and wheeled me into the recovery room. And then right away, they were helping me breastfeed, like try to get her to latch. Jersey latched on like that. Like it was not a problem at all. She latched on right away, even though it wasn't really nothing coming out of there, but she still latched on. And I just couldn't feel nothing. I was just like still super numb, and they was telling me it's gonna wear off and stuff after because they took all the medicine out of me, and they were saying I was gonna be in pain, you know, after it wore off. But I didn't really start feeling pain until a few hours later.
Yeah.
And my stomach was hurting at that point. And they still had the catheter in me and everything because I couldn't get up and walk to use the bathroom or nothing like that. So that was pretty much it. After they took the catheter out, they wanted me to try to pee. Y'all, that was the most difficult thing I've ever done. Like, I literally couldn't pee. Like, I was trying so hard and I couldn't pee. And the nurse was like, use the Perry bottle, she said, and try to squirt water on you, and then maybe it'll come out. And then sure enough, it came out then. But I had a whole bunch of trapped gas, couldn't pass gas, nothing like that. Like, it was just, the feeling was just very odd. Like, it was a very odd feeling. But after that, everything was fine, really. Like, I was in pain, but I was taking my pain meds. So that was pretty much it, though. And then we were able to go home, and everything was good. So if y'all have questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer all y'all questions about C-section or whatever, if there was anything that I didn't address in this video. But that was it.
Pretty much.
All right, like, comment, subscribe.
See what's up, Dre? No? Okay. With the poop grunts. Oh, she throwing up. That's good.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, we out.
That was. wait. I need a thumbnail.
That was definitely a way to end the video, right?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Really, little girl?
We tell her say hi, she throw up.
That's how you say hi to people?
My baby.
Is that how you say hi? Hurry up, Tony.
I'm looking for something.
At the bottom. Or a burp cloth or something. Yeah. Really? How am I wipe it off, Tony?
Hey.
Do it again.